Hey everyone, welcome back to Rima Reads. So I am currently dressed up as Inej Ghafa from Six of Crows. Inej Ghafa is my favorite character of all time. I love her so much, and we're both brown, and I own a lot of knives, so we're basically the same person. Yeah. No, but I decided to dress up as her for Halloween, and I thought I would do a fun video for you all as well. So there are a whole bunch of videos on BookTube talking about Six of Crows. It's one of my favorite all-time series, but that seems to be a shared sentiment among most of BookTube because these books are so good. So I'm not going to really be doing a review on Six of Crows, but my quick 5-second summary, if you have no idea what Six of Crows is, it is essentially some badass children go on a heist to get some money, but the real heist was the friends they made along the way. It will steal your heart. I thought it would be really fun to do just like a deep dive character study on Inej, as that's who I'm dressed up as, and just talk about her. A character study of Inej Ghafa and why I think she's one of the most well-written, unique characters I have ever read about. Was trained as an acrobat from a very young age, so she has been taught how to balance on a tightrope and how to fall and how to do all of these very impressive acrobatic skills from basically since she could walk. And she grew up with two very loving, very supportive parents. When Inej was about 14 years old, she was kidnapped from her caravan by some slavers and sold into indentured servitude and forced prostitution at the age of 14 as a child. And there she lived in the menagerie, where she was basically forced into prostitution and or beaten for about a year until she met Kaz Brecker. Kaz ends up paying off her servitude at the menagerie and then trains her to be the Wraith, which is a spy. So he teaches her how to fight, how to kill, how to defend herself, but also her job is to find secrets. She will spy on people, learn everything about them. She is able to disappear in the background without anyone noticing, and that's her biggest skill, is her ability to be unnoticed. She uses a lot of the acrobatic skills that she learned as a child in this, climbing roofs and scaling walls. So she is essentially working to survive. She finds that being part of the dregs is much better than her old life. She feels certain loyalty to Kaz and these people that have saved her. So that's pretty much where our story starts in Six of Crows. Is Inej has been working with the dregs for about a year now, and she gets involved in the heist that Kaz is planning for lots of money. So I think there are a number of things about Inej and her characterization that stand out to me, make her very different than other protagonists that I have read about. She has had a lot of horrific things happen to her in her life. That doesn't stop her from channeling mercy and compassion when needed. She's never one to use excess force. However, she also will never ever downplay herself or her own strength to be compassionate, if that makes any sense. Like she will always put herself first, her safety. So if she needs to beat someone up to be safe, she will do it, and then she will pray to her saints afterwards. but she will always take care of herself first. But when there isn't a cause or a need for excessive violence, she will be the first to say, no, we need to show compassion. And I love that so much. She has such a high respect for herself and her needs, and still does not use her past or her trauma to basically like justify excessive violence. And I feel like that's such a tightrope that I haven't really seen many protagonists fall upon. Like, often in other novels I've seen, when you have a really empathetic protagonist, they stray too far into feeling for other people that they end up putting themselves at danger a lot of times. And Inej realizes that she will not sacrifice her own self. She is focusing on her survival, and that she matters, like her safety matters more. But unlike folks like Kaz, who doesn't really care about excessive violence and things like that, she does show restraint and does show compassion and mercy. And I think it's such a beautiful balance that she walks on. Like, her compassion isn't sacrificed by her ferocity. I haven't really seen other stories do so well as a character. And I really think that part of her really plays into why her and Kaz have such a great, compelling relationship. Like I mentioned, Kaz, he considers himself as a monster, so do most of the dregs, and he doesn't really care about mercy or compassion, but he does love Inej. And I think everything I said earlier about Inej really shows in their evolving relationship throughout the book. When Kaz is not treating her right, when he calls her an investment, when he's not really 100% in their relationship, she is the first to demand the respect that she deserves. She does love Kaz like he is the boy who saved her, and she wants to believe he is worth saving too, but he consistently demands Kaz to treat her with the respect, and she will not basically be with him until he is able to give her the relationship she deserves. And in a lot of books, there's always like the bad boy that the main girl wants to save and believes that he could be better, but they end up like sacrificing a lot, or the bad boy never even becomes better. And in this book, they really show like it's not worth sacrificing yourself. Like, you should always demand your respect, and Inej does that. And I think it really plays into why her and Kaz are able to have such a great relationship, is because he realizes this and he's willing to change and grow for her and pull himself up into some semblance of a man for her. I love how she is always willing to stand up for herself. She's also like a very, very fiercely loyal person. She technically could have escaped the dregs once Kaz had paid off her indenture and like sailed away, but she knew that would put Kaz in a bad position after he risked setting her free. And she is willing to stay and continue serving the dregs until she can pay off her debt. She also is fiercely loyal to Nina, and they have such a beautiful friendship with two badass girls who are always willing to fight for each other, and to Jesper, who have a really cute friendship where they shit on Kaz, because like, who doesn't? And it's so good. The other thing I think is very unique about Inej is her ability to keep her culture and her traditions alive within her and follow and embody those values. When she was at the menagerie, they often like talked about her beautiful brown skin and forced her to wear fake silks of her people that were basically a mockery of their traditional outfits that held a lot of culture and value. And I think that part really talks about the exotification and sexualization of women of color, and how she navigates this space is very, very interesting, because she still really strongly believes in her culture and her values, and even despite everything that she's been through, she's still able to connect to that part of her. And even Kaz will like bring it up of, why are you still believing in your saints when they haven't done anything for you? But Inej is so strong and confident in her beliefs, keeping her culture alive within her when she was literally torn from it, which is so strong that she's able to keep this connection. And I love it. The fact that Inej is able to stick with her traditions and her culture because it means so much to her, and she's not going to let this city that's taken away so much of her also take away her traditions and culture and value. And being a woman of color in this predominantly white space, and she's again demanding like that she gets to keep parts of herself that she wants to keep, which is also a very strong message. The other thing that I think is very different about Inej compared to other characters is that she is very like soft spoken. Like a lot of main characters in books are usually like loud and brash, but Inej is definitely the one that will fade into the background. She essentially is a very level-headed person. She thinks before she acts. She's very quiet and reserved and in the background, but that doesn't take away from her ferocity and her ability to get what she wants in life. Like, she very much drives the story and is the main character in her life without being a loud and brash person. And not that being loud and brash is a bad thing, because I love Nina so much. But I do think it's very, very different for a protagonist of a book to be this way and still be the driving force of their own story and their own narrative and push to what she wants to accomplish, even though she's a quiet. I think there's a quote in Crooked Kingdom. You guys all probably know what quote I'm gonna be talking about that really embodies this. But wasn't that what every girl dreamed? That she'd wake and find herself a princess? Or blessed with magical powers and a grand destiny? Maybe there were some people who lived those lives. Maybe this girl was one of them. But what of the rest of us? What about the nobodies and the nothings, the invisible girls? We learn to hold our heads as if we wear crowns. We learn to wring magic from the ordinary. That was how you survived when you weren't chosen, when there was no royal blood in your veins, when the world owed you nothing, you demanded something of it anyways. That quote, chills every time I read it. That quote really embodies Inej as a character. Like, she is very much a character that you wouldn't see as a main character of a book, quiet, reserved, nobody, but she will demand what she deserves and will demand all the respect and demand everything from the world. And I love to see it. I love to see such a strong character. I love her story arc throughout both of the books, because she starts out in Six of Crows as like just essentially trying to survive. Once the idea of 4 million crew start to become a reality and she actually is able to dream bigger, I'm gonna read that quote too, because she knew that the rain was not enough. She wanted a storm, thunder, wind, a deluge. She wanted it to crash through Ketterdam's pleasure houses, lifting roofs and tearing doors off their hinges. She wanted it to raise the seas, take hold of every slaving ship, shatter their masses, and smash their hulls against unforgiving shores. I want to call that storm, she thought, and 4 million crew might be enough to do that. Enough for her own ship, something small and fierce and laden with firepower, something like her. She would hunt the slavers and their buyers. They would learn to fear her, and they would know her by name. The heart is an arrow. It demands aim to land true. She clung to the wall, but its purpose she grasped at long last, and that carried her upward. She was not a lynx, or a spider, or even the wraith. She was Inej Ghafa, and her future was waiting above. I love her so much. Her storyline of finding purpose, realizing that what she wants to do is make sure that no one's suffered the way she suffered, and the righteous anger that she has, is amazing. And I can't wait. I would love to see Pirate Queen Inej taking down all the slavers. A dream. So overall, I think Inej is one of the most uniquely created characters I've ever seen in literature. Her storyline tackles like a whole bunch of very sensitive topics like forced prostitution and rape, and the exotification of women of color, and being a woman of color in this predominantly white space, and reclaiming your own destiny and demanding the respect that you deserve. She's just an amazing character. That was my deep dive character study on why Inej Ghafa is awesome and we love her. If you are curious, I will show off my knives. This one is a Mexican obsidian dagger. I got it from Mexico. This one, my other knife, is actually Sting from Lord of the Rings. So it's a replica of Sting. My final knife that I own, it is a Moroccan dagger. It is real and pretty sharp. It's my favorite of them. I think it's beautiful. I got this from a friend. I do not have all of the knives that Inej has, but maybe one day I'll have all 7 knives. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I had lots of fun dressing up as Inej and playing with my knives because I'm always happy to do that. Comment and subscribe if you guys enjoyed this, and happy Halloween! Yay! Yeah, thank you guys all so much. Bye!